welcome to CityBiz. Oh my goodness, we're here at the end of October. Halloween is this weekend. Trick-or-treating Saturday, we'll remind you of that at the end. I am Melinda Arndt, Fairfield resident. Michael Halley, also Fairfield resident for a while yet, and our intrepid councilman on the city council for the past 10 years. We're going to bring you the update, what's going on, CityBiz-wise.
Yep, there's a lot going on right now. We're a dynamic community and a dynamic city, so always something happening.
Hey, and some of you may have discovered the food truck at the corner of 5th and Burlington, and I know other food trucks are making appearances. You want to talk about food truck permits?
Yes, so this last summer we had Mike and Nikki's, who are now found their new home here on the square where Morimio used to be. They wanted to bring their food truck before they had moved to the downtown. And the city realized we didn't have any sort of rules about that. And so the city council gave them a certain day of the week that they could be out. I think it was Wednesdays. And we said, all right, you can come out on Wednesdays for lunch for the next 4 weeks. And so staff realized, city staff, that if every time someone wanted to put a food truck on public property, they had to come to city council, that would become a little bit annoying. So, or just time consuming, cumbersome, more than annoying. So they looked into other cities and realized that most other cities have a permit for food trucks to be on public property. So the permit's not necessary for the food truck you talked about. Most of the food trucks in town find a place to set up that's on private property.
Oh, okay.
And in that case, all they need is the peddler license. Now, anybody selling anything out in the public away from a brick and mortar location needs a peddler license. So that's just standard, and that doesn't change. The food truck permit we did was for people who wanted to be around Central Park or north of Petra Park on Briggs Street.
Right.
So we figured those are the two locations where people would want to set up. We left it so that if they want to be in a city park, they go to the Park and Rec department for permission on that. So again, it allows staff to give the okay if everything is handled. And the permit fee isn't much. It's $5 a week or $20 a month. So, you know, as far as rent goes, that's pretty cheap rent.
Yeah.
And instead of only allowing one day of the week, a food truck, if they got a permit for a week, they could be out in one of those locations, either here around Central Park on the inside, not the outside parking, but right around the center of Central Park or by Petra Park 7 days a week. The only limitations are not from midnight to 6 a.m.
You know, sales are going to be slow then anyway.
Exactly. Except for RAGBRAI 2019, apparently the fire truck converted a pizza oven was selling pizzas until like past 1 a.m. But that's a special occasion, which actually reminds me, if a food truck is downtown for an event that's city sanctioned, like First Friday or RAGBRAI, they don't need the permit. So if you're part of an event or on private property, no permit necessary. It's only if a food truck wants to come down and be on public property, which is parking, and outside of a regular event. So we thought with these nice new tables out, that the timing was good, because when the weather warms again next year and people are congregating down here, a food truck might want to come and sell food here or by Petra Park.
Great. And these tables, hopefully many of you have had a chance to just sit here and enjoy a cup of coffee or a meal or just sitting outside, because they are wonderful.
Really something.
Yeah. Long awaited. Such a fulfillment.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, since we're talking outside, you're driving around town or walking or biking, you've seen road work going on. What's the latest? Well,
a lot of it's done. So 4th Street overlay is done, 32nd overlay is done. Those streets are smoother than they've been in decades. Now the Reconstruction, we were going to have 23rd from Burlington to Tyler, out by kind of the industrial park. That was going to be the big part, and then also a block of C Street between Burlington and Broadway, and a block of 9th Street between Burlington and Washington. However, those last two, the one block of 9th and the one block of C may not happen this calendar year.
We're running out of weather?
We're running out of weather. 23rd is on its last segment. So it started by Burlington and moved south, trying to keep lanes open for the businesses out there. So it's finishing, but if you look at the weather, there's some freezing weather nights coming next week, perhaps.
Bring in your plants.
Yeah, so concrete doesn't do well in that kind of...
No, that's the main thing.
So you got to do it when it's, still doable. So we'll see 23rd get done, but the other two may be next calendar year, spring when the weather warms. And since 23rd was the much larger project, it's good that it was done. And those other blocks, they can wait. They're not terrible. They're a little rough, but they're still travelable. And we talked about the post office alley.
Yes.
I think last time we thought it was going to be done soon. It just got done. So
Yay.
It took a little longer, but the mailbox is back. And again, that alley is smoother than it's been since I've been here since the early 90s.
It's wonderful.
That alley's always been a little rough, and the city street department did that in-house, and they're getting really good. I mean,
that's good.
There was a lot of different angles and such, but next time you have something to drop off at the post office, you can admire the nice new, freshly paved alleyway.
And I guess the traffic cones on C between Burlington and Broadway, they'll either get picked up and brought back, or they'll just stay there all winter, and
probably get picked up.
We'll know that the street is going to get done. I ride my bike on that street, so that's all. That's
and you do see work on South Main. There is no South Burlington. What am I talking about? South Main Street. Burlington's an east-west street. South Main, the water main replacement that's kind of getting done before that whole 3-lane expansion
can
happen. So you see that, you see a lot of holes and a lot of boring machines out there. Not boring as in uninteresting, because that could be true, but the machines that actually make the holes without having to dig the whole thing up. So that's moving forward. But again, we are coming to the end of the outdoor construction season. It was a fun one. We'll look back fondly on 2021 construction season.
Celebrate those streets and more streets to go. I mean, it's a continuous process, as we all know, but thanks for, tuning in all these months, because when will my street be done has been addressed on many of these streets. It's kind of a fun one to look back on. Well, more outdoor things we've got in our parks, Chautauqua Park, and what was the other one? Waterworks Park, bathrooms, restrooms.
Yeah, so a very generous donor gave some money to the Park and Rec Foundation specifically for new restrooms at Waterworks Park and Chautauqua Park. So the old kind of triangular shape or whatever it was restroom building at Chautauqua was taken down years ago because it was just, sometimes things run their useful life and they're just not repairable.
Right, it's going to cost too much to,
So there've been a couple porta pots out there. So now the city engineer has got a kind of a basic scope of work to design what's going to be, for Waterworks, it's going to be a shelter with a kitchenette and 2 restrooms. So it'll be a real upgrade out there. That old shelter down by the water is very nice because you got the nice view. This will be on the other side of the street, but it'll be very welcome, and the little kitchenette will be very useful if you're hosting a little party out there. So this is still in design phase, but we could see that going in 2022. And then something similar over at
Waterworks.
Chautauqua.
Oh, excuse me. Well, Waterworks was, and then Chautauqua. Okay.
And I'm not sure the design for the Chautauqua, if it's a shelter/restroom or what it is exactly, because.
Okay, so the one with the kitchenette is at Waterworks.
Waterworks. Yep.
Cool.
Which is a very popular place for barbecuing.
Yes, it is.
If you ever go out there, it's when it's warm weather, it's used quite a lot.
Yeah. By people from town, and of course people from the university. Many students are over there cooking out.
Come over and do their barbecuing.
Yes, indeed.
Their international cuisine.
Yeah, it always smells good. I'm just out there swimming laps, and I see that smoke.
Some of it. Sometimes it smells really good.
Well, talking about things that smell good and maybe things that are fun and taste good. I know kids are looking forward to trick or treating.
Yep.
And this Halloween, it's on Saturday.
Well, I think Halloween's Sunday.
Well, I mean, trick or treat night.
Trick or treat is
That's
Saturday.
the all important
Yes.
thing.
And some people really get upset about that, and it is.
It's kind of
It's
unique.
not uncommon. Well,
Is it
I
not
did a
uncommon?
search on
Yeah.
Google, you know, and that's the definitive source of information, right? So most cities, especially the bigger ones, have a city designated trick or treat. That's not always on Halloween. And so it's just the city looking out for public safety and considering multiple factors. So one factor I think that parents may be happy with is kids going out and collecting their goodies on a Saturday instead of a Sunday,
Right.
and then eating some of that
More-
and being on a sugar rush. You know, if that was on a school night on
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah.
you might have some grumpy kids come Monday morning.
The school
So
teachers will
Saturday.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, so it's Saturday,
Yeah.
5:30 to 7:30.
Yeah.
So as always, the way to let people know you're open for business is put your porch light on. My older son Josh and I are gonna pass out candy at my house down by Howard Park, and he got this kind of scary looking mask from Squid Game.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, all right, you got to be ready to take that off, because if you are too scary, the kids, you know, might not want to come on the porch and take the
The little
candy.
ones, anyway.
Yeah, the
like-
real little ones. You know, you can't. I remember as a kid, some people really got into it and scared the dickens out of us poor kids.
Oh
We're
yeah,
just
some
there
people
for the
love to
candy.
have scary sounds,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
walk up to the porch and this hand comes out. And
Yep, some
people
people get
like to
into
do
it.
that stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, if you have fun Saturday night if you're here in town, with the trick or treaters going around, or if
Yeah.
you're taking some trick or treaters
Or
around.
If you're driving, be very, very careful.
Oh, yeah.
That's another reason why it's good to announce this. Is just
Yeah.
if you're traveling that night, just be very aware of children out walking around collecting candy. So
Indeed.
I've seen kids, you know, they get pretty excited, they get a little sugar in their veins, and they just start bolting across the street without doing the looking both ways. It happens, you know. So
yeah.
keep both eyes open.
So happy Halloween, stay safe, and we will see you closer to Thanksgiving. Can you believe it? Enjoy this beautiful fall weather. The leaves are finally turning.
Yep, it's happening.
And we'll all be heading indoors a little bit. Maybe we'll come to you outdoors next month, depends on the weather. Till then, I'm Melinda Arndt
See you next time.
on CityBiz.